I grew up believing that being a good person meant putting others before myself, always. Help people even when you're exhausted. Say yes even when you want to say no. Be there for others even if they are never there for you. For years, I followed this belief. I was the dependable one, the listener, the problem solver. People admired me for it. They called me kind, selfless, caring. But what no one saw was that inside, I was drowning. I was tired, emotionally drained, frustrated. I felt like I was giving my all and getting nothing in return. And yet, I kept doing it because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Until one day, I broke. 1. The breaking point. Let me take you back to the moment everything changed for me. It was a Thursday evening. I had just finished a long, exhausting day. Work had been stressful, my phone had been blowing up with people asking for favors, and I hadn't had a single moment to myself. I sat down, finally ready to relax, when my phone buzzed. It was a friend, someone who only ever reached out when they needed something. "Hey, I need a huge favor. Can you pick me up? I know it's out of your way, but I'd really appreciate it." I looked at the message, and something inside me snapped. I stared at my phone and thought, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep showing up for people who never show up for me? In that moment, I realized I had been living my life for everyone except myself. 2. Why we struggle to say no. Now you might be wondering, why did it take me so long to realize this? The truth is, most of us have been conditioned to believe that saying no makes us selfish, and being selfish is bad. Think about it. How many times have you felt guilty for saying no to a friend's request? Not answering a phone call because you were mentally drained? Putting your needs before someone else's? Society has convinced us that self-sacrifice equals love, that being a good person means constantly giving, even at the cost of our own well-being. But here's the hard truth. If you give too much, people will take too much. 3. The first time I chose myself. That night, I didn't reply to my friend's message. I turned off my phone and went to bed. And for the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Relief. The next day, I woke up and decided to test a theory. I stopped responding immediately to texts. I didn't offer help unless I truly wanted to. I prioritized my own time, my own energy, my own happiness. And guess what? The world didn't fall apart. But something interesting did happen. The people who only used me disappeared. The people who truly cared respected my boundaries. I felt lighter, freer, happier than I had in years. That's when I realized being selfish wasn't ruining my life. It was saving it. 4. The backlash and why it's a good thing. Now, let me be honest. When you start prioritizing yourself, not everyone will like it. Some people will call you selfish. Some will accuse you of changing. Some will get angry when you stop saying yes to everything. And at first, this might make you second-guess yourself. But here's what I learned. People who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. The ones who get mad? The ones who try to guilt-trip you? The ones who make you feel bad for taking care of yourself? Those are the people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. And when you stop letting them use you, they will either adapt or disappear. And both outcomes are a win for you. 5. The signs you need to be more selfish. I wish someone had told me this earlier, so I want to share it with you now. If you relate to these signs, it might be time for you to start putting yourself first. 1. You feel exhausted all the time. You give so much that there's nothing left for yourself. 2. You feel resentful toward the people in your life. Not because they're bad people, but because they take and never give back. 3. You struggle to say no. Even when you want to, even when you know you should. 4. You feel like no one truly appreciates you. Because they've come to expect your kindness as a given. 5. You feel guilty when you put yourself first. Because you've been taught that self-care is selfish. If you see yourself in these signs, it's time to change something. 6. How to start choosing yourself without guilt. If you're ready to stop being a people pleaser and start living for yourself, here's where to start. 1. Say no without explaining. You don't owe anyone a detailed excuse. No is a complete sentence. 2. Prioritize rest and recovery. If you're tired, rest. If you need space, take it. Your needs matter. 3. Set boundaries and enforce them. If someone gets mad at your boundaries, that's their problem, not yours. 4. Surround yourself with people who respect you. The right people will celebrate your self-care, not shame you for it. 5. Remind yourself, you deserve peace too. Your happiness is just as important as anyone else's. 7. The life I have now and why I'll never go back. It's been a few years since I started prioritizing myself, and let me tell you, I am happier, healthier, and more at peace than ever before. I wake up excited for my day. I no longer feel drained by people who only take. I spend time with people who truly value me. I live life on my terms. And you know what? I still help people. I still care. But now, I help from a place of choice, not obligation. And that makes all the difference. Final message. If you needed a sign, this is it. If you've been waiting for permission to put yourself first, this is your sign. You don't need to run yourself into the ground to prove your worth. You don't need to say yes to everything just to be loved. You don't need to sacrifice yourself to be a good person. Being selfish isn't bad. It's necessary. Because when you take care of yourself, you have more to give. Because when you protect your peace, you find real happiness. Because when you choose yourself, you teach others how to treat you. And trust me, it will be the best thing you ever do.